So welcome to practice 3 of What Happened to You. So chapter 3 was all about how we were loved. So naturally this class, this practice, will be about moving from our heart. So this is a heart-centering practice. But it's important that as we move from the heart, we also have the support of our back body. So we're really going to be focusing on this container. So it's important that we move in the world with this safe container, so that we have healthy boundaries and we show up in the world from our authentic self, but also from a place where we know who we are, we know what we want and what we are not willing to compromise on. So you know yourself better than anyone else, so I just ask that if you have any back issues, you please take care of yourself, modify as needed. So to begin, find your feet underneath you. So I like to separate my feet so that I have a little bit of distance between my feet, not too much, not too little. Gives more room and space for my pelvis. So begin to rock back and forth on your feet. And so when you rock forward, so lift your heels, rock forward, and you're not gonna fall, but almost create the feeling like you could fall if you didn't stop yourself. And notice how certain muscles are contracting to keep you here, and then rock back on your heels. And again, I don't want you to fall, but just notice that feeling of the front of the legs now contracting to keep you here. Notice it's so small, but these muscles are firing so quickly, and our brain is helping that action of, okay, we need to activate to keep this person in balance. So going back and forth, noticing that. You can also notice all the little toes doing their job to maintain your balance, keep you upright. And then find the 4 corners of your feet. So on your feet, it would be underneath the ball of your big toe, your pinky toe, and then the 2 edges of your heel. So we're gonna press into those 4 corners of our feet and make an impression. So press down into your feet, so much so that it creates that action in the legs. So pull up through the legs. So this is our mountain pose. So as we're grounded here, pressing down into the floor, almost imagining that you can press your feet all the way through your floor into the earth beneath you. And allow that action of pressing and gravity to be your foundation. Remember the core regulatory networks? Our legs are like those core regulatory networks. They're keeping us grounded. So now we're allowed to be light in our upper body. So from here, I want you to interlace your fingers, and first notice which finger's on top. Flip your palms and press through your wrists. You can keep your elbows bent to start here, but then you're gonna lift overhead any amount. And if you want, you can take a full extension through the arms. And then if you're up there, then begin to straighten your elbows. Find your side body, find your waist, lengthen up. Imagine that your wrists are touching your ceiling or beyond your ceiling. Press down through your feet as you extend through your waist, through your rib cage, through your collarbones. And look around a little bit so that you don't create tension in your neck. So look from side to side. And then extend one hand while the other hand releases. And then we're going to take that hand across the body, hanging on to your rib cage. So to start here, use your fingertips and kind of get in between each rib, kind of like if you were flossing. And just feel around, feel each of these ribs, and then feel all the little intercostal muscles in between each. And then from here, start to lean over. So you can continue with your fingers a few times, leaning over, and then leaning back up. And then from here, placing that hand on your rib cage, you're going to inhale and extend and lean over. So leaning over, and with this hand right here, you're giving it that extra support, saying, hey, it's good, I'm here. This is still a safe container. We're creating that sense of felt safety. So going back and forth here, that would be an exhale. Inhale and then exhale as you come over. This hand is here to remind us that this is our body. Here we are in space and we're safe. And then this time with your hand, almost as like this hand is going to help lift it up. So lift up that rib cage, lean over to the side. Breathe here. Notice your breath. when you're ready, inhale, and then exhale, extend this arm down. Extend both hands by your side, and just pause here. Remember, I always say that the pause is as important as the pose. So we just did one side, so now go inward, and if you like, you can close your eyes or look down at the floor. Go inward and notice that side that you just worked. Breathe there. Notice any difference between the side that we just opened up and the side that we have yet to do. If the eyes were closed, softly blink them open. Now interlace your fingers in the opposite way. So the opposite finger is going to be on top. Flip the palms, extend. Remember, if there's any tension in the elbows, keep them softly bent here. If you like, you can start to lift overhead. If the hands don't want to go all the way overhead, that's fine. Just work with your range of motion. If you have a large range of motion, no shoulder tension, extend and then straighten the elbows and reach up. Get yourself as long as possible. Extend. You can even lift your gaze slightly here. And breathe into those ribs that we just massaged. And then we're going to extend and lower the opposite hand, let it come around, and we'll do the other side. So start by just kind of massaging with your fingertips. So just moving around and feeling these lower ribs and feeling in between each one. And then all the way as far as the hand can reach to your back. So we have so much breath that comes in our back body, so we're going to work with that a little bit here. So just using those fingers in between each one, getting in there and flossing. And then place the hand on your lowest ribs and extend up and over. And then coming back up. And then moving the hand to the next rib, lift up and over. So you're arching over. Lift up. And again, any amount here. So if this isn't great on your shoulder, you can do the same thing with sort of this cactus arm. But you're getting that same opening for the ribs. And we're breathing into these places. So there's all these muscles in here that help us breathe. So 2 more times, finding space, connection, awareness. After you finish that, release both hands by your side. And again, take note here. Go inward, breathe. And we're going to continue on with this by placing our hands around our ribs with the fingers on the front ribs and then the thumbs in the back. And here we're just going to breathe. So as you breathe, I want you to fill as much air as you can into your thumbs. So let your thumbs separate and get really, really big and broad. And then as you exhale, it's like it's coming forward, in, and down. So it's this kind of action. As you breathe in, you're going to lift up. Feel the separation and the broadness. And then as you exhale, everything sort of comes back together. So it's beautiful. If you ever see online, there's pictures of the breath. So just tuning in here. Finding this space, this container. This is what allows us to show up in the world from a sense of felt safety. And when you're ready, release your hands down. Now we'll do a bit of opening up. So we're going to be inhaling our arms overhead, and then when we come to exhale, we're going to come into a forward bend. So honor your back, so bend your knees to any degree that you need to, but we're going to use the muscles in our back. So I don't want you to bend so much that you don't feel anything. I want your back muscles to work here. As you exhale, I'm just showing you, and then we'll do it together. You're going to come into a bit of a twist. So this outside hand can come to the outside of the opposite thigh, or if you want to go a little bit further, you could go to the outside of the knee, but we're going to flow and then you'll come up. Okay, so find your feet to start. Remember, rock and roll, back and forth until you find the 4 corners press down into the feet. And then with like a sense of rebound, the arches pulling up through the center of your legs. So we press down through the feet, but we get a lift through the legs. And that lift is what helps us move and show up with a sense of courage and authenticity. So from here, you're gonna raise your arms overhead, or if overhead doesn't work, cactus arms works just fine. You'll inhale, maybe find a slight back bend so the chin can lift off the chest. No tension in the neck. And then as you exhale, take one hand to the outside as the opposite hand just rests at the top of your back. And then we'll inhale and we'll switch sides. So exhale, again, engage your back muscles and your abdominal muscles as you come forward and as you come back up. Now let's all come to the top. When you get to your full standing, equal standing, you can come into a bit of a back bend to any degree, as long as you're lifting from that container of the ribs. So it's not just your chest. You're not going to shrink your back muscles. You're going to lift up. Find the freedom in your heart and your neck. And then as you exhale, you'll come into a bit of a twist. And this back hand is on the top of your back, just to remind you that it's also working in equal to your front body. And so now we'll start to bring in the breath. So let's inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 4. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for 4. This time inhale for a count of 6. Pause for 1 beat. Exhale for 4. Inhale for 6. When you reach the top, you pause at your highest, fullest expression of your back bend. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale one last time, count up 6. When you get there, pause for 2. Release, lower your hands by your side. And you might want to pause for a moment here. You can turn your palms to face outward. Now that we've checked in, we've gone inward, we've found how we're feeling internally, and it feels, hopefully it feels safe. Now we can turn our palms open and be available to others. We can also be available to receive from others. Softly blink your eyes open. So continuing on, we're going to go into Warrior 1. So you'll step your left foot forward and step your right foot back. Now again, remember that we don't want to have our feet too narrow, so create some distance, some space. And then the width of your stance, or the length of your stance, totally up to you. As we inhale, we bend the front foot, and I always say on the first one at least, always look at your knee to make sure it's tracking over the second and third toe. We're going to inhale and come into our back bend, and then we're going to exhale, bring our palms onto our heart and straighten that knee. We're going to inhale and open up. It's like you're a victory type pose. So you can lift the eyes upward, and then as you exhale, straighten the knee and alternate which hand is on your heart. Now inhale for a count of 4. Exhale. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale. Alternating which hand touches your heart. Also good for the brain. Inhale for 6. Pause for 1 and exhale. And this last time, if 6 works, continue with 6. If you want to try 7, you can try 7. If any of this is bothering you, then you leave it out. Exhale, bring it in to your center. Now before we do the other side, just step the back foot forward, so 2 feet together, and just pause here with your hands on your heart. So as we go through this, you might notice that as we extend our inhalation, we're building this energy, this healthy energy, Brahma. It's there for us when we need to be ready to give and receive. So it comes from our heart, and then we receive it back in. So when you're ready, switching sides, right foot forward, left foot steps back. Again, the width, I like to have a little bit of space so that you have balance. And then the length, totally up to you. Just make sure that as you bend into the front knee, it's tracking over the second and third toe. So if you feel like you don't have enough space, step the back foot back a little bit more. The back foot is at a slight angle. When you're ready, you'll inhale. Take your arms upward, any amount, whether they're bent elbows or straight elbows, whether they're overhead, doesn't matter. Just extend and open yourself up. And then as you exhale, bring it into your heart. So as you're opening up, bringing in those qualities of kindness and compassion, and then bringing it back to your center so that you receive those qualities. So what do you want to put out in the world? Honesty, integrity, respect. Those same qualities need to come back to you so they can come from within you. So inhale, 4. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, 5 count. Exhale, bring it in, alternating. Again, which hand is touching your heart? Inhale this time for 6. When you reach the top, pause for a beat. Exhale, bring it in. And this last one can be 6, or if you feel like you can get to 7, try that. Hold for 2. Exhale, bring it in. Pause here, step the back foot up to meet the front foot. Take a moment, notice, close your eyes. As you close your eyes, can you open your heart? Can you receive? Can you open your ears a little bit more? What messages is your body sending you? Slowly open your eyes if they were closed, release your hands. And now make your way onto the floor if you have the ability to be on the floor right now. Otherwise, pause this video. You can return to the next section when you're ready for that. Okay, so join me now on all fours on your floor. Hopefully you have a mat or something to pad your knees. So you're gonna come into a tabletop position. So your knees are underneath your hips and your hands are underneath your shoulders. And we're gonna do less than a full cow pose. So a full cow pose would be dipping and arching through the pelvis. So we lift the pelvis and then we lift the gaze. Here we're gonna extend. So we wanna extend through the tailbone and extend through the crown of your head. So it's really, again, about creating this neutral container. So we extend through the body and then we take our seat to our heels. They don't have to come down all the way, but they just reach back, and then you can bend your elbows. You can even place your head on the floor if it makes it comfortably. And then we'll inhale and we'll come back so that we reach between the tailbone and the crown of the head. We extend in both directions. So we make our back as long as we can. And then as we exhale, set the elbows down, take the hips back. So this time, inhale for the count of 4. Exhale. This time, inhale for the count of 5. Exhale. This time, inhale for the count of 6, and then pause for 1. Exhale. This time, inhale either for 6 or 7. Count, hold for 2. Exhale, come back. Find your child's pose, resting either one fist on top of the other. If the head can make it to the floor, that's great. If it doesn't, no problem. I'm just going to come up so I can not shout in the mic. So as you are continuing to rest in your child's pose, you can either leave your hands, if you've made 2 fists to rest your head on. I really like doing that myself. I think it feels a nice way to support the back. If you like, you can also try placing your hands around and supporting your hands on your low back. Or you can rest your hands by your heels. And as you're in child's pose, it's a nice reminder of breathing in your back body. So as you continue in child's pose, just for another 2 or 3 breaths, just notice your breath and feel it in your back body. And then slowly bring yourself from child's pose to laying on your stomach. So once you come onto your stomach, first place one hand on top of the other and then rest your head down on your hands. Again, I'm going to come in and out of this only so that I'm not shouting because the mic is really close when I lay down. So you're still going to be laying down, resting and breathing, because we very infrequently, I think, realize how much we can go inward when we lay on our stomach and when we just breathe. And then from there, we're going to alternate lifting leg and lifting opposite arm. So I'll demonstrate that now. Your gaze is going to be neutral. So your gaze is towards the floor so that your neck is neutral, excuse me. The neck is neutral, the gaze is towards the floor, or you can close your eyes. You'll lift one foot off the floor. It doesn't matter how high it goes. I want it to go long. So extend through the toes and then extend the opposite arm. Set that down. You can rest your face or your forehead. When you're ready, you'll inhale, extend through the opposite leg, getting it long, not high, and then extend through the opposite arm. And set those both down. And then continue back and forth. So you extend and lift on the inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Extend and lift. Lower it down. After you do 2 more on each side, then pause and rest your head again on folded hands. And then from here, I'd like you to slowly bring yourself back up and come onto your back. So now you've made your way onto your back. So knees are bent, feet are on the floor, and we'll go through a series of bridge pose. Again, this container so that we can open up through our front body, which is our self-expression, but we've got that support on our back body. So you might need to walk your feet in a little bit so that they're a little bit closer towards your seat. And then as you inhale, press and lift your hips up. Now, I don't care how high they go. I want to make sure that your knees are tracking right over the tops of your feet. So we don't want the knees to splay out. So imagine that you have, if you have a yoga block, you can always put a yoga block between your knees. If you don't, then you can imagine that you have like a big hardbound book. So you're really using the muscles of your legs. And then exhale, lower it down. Now we'll combine this with our breath. So you'll inhale, extend the arms up overhead, and exhale, lower down. Inhale for 4. Exhale, lower down. Inhale for 5. Exhale, lower down. This time, inhale for 6. And when you reach the end of your 6 count, pause for 1. Just pause the breath. And then lower down as you exhale. Again, you can either inhale for 6 or try 7. This time, hold your breath for 2, but it's just a pause. No strenuous holding, just a pause. And then this time, in that pause, lower your arms down and then lower the hips down. Take a pause here with your hips down. Let's try that one more time. I'll talk you through it. It's really powerful. So you'll inhale for the count of 6. When you reach 6, pause for 2. In the pause, so no in or out breath, lower your hands back to the floor. Still in the pause, no in or out breath, lower your hips to the floor. And now just breathe naturally. So that pause is critical. So if you need to keep practicing that a few times, please do. I find that one of the most grounding practices for myself personally. When you're ready, take one knee and then the other into your chest. And you can roll to one side and bring yourself up. And we're going to continue on with the meditation now, so if you have time for that, I encourage you to stay. If not, pause here and return for meditation when you have time. So for this meditation, I invite you to have a chair or sit against a wall. So we've been practicing and really focusing on the nurturing experience of our back body. We're also focusing on the nurturing heart. We need both. So we need to have both the support behind us so that our true selves can emerge. So either in a chair, or you could be sitting against a wall if you prefer to sit on the floor for meditation. Rest your hands in your lap. Take your gaze to the floor or close your eyes. Connect inward. And if you're sitting in a chair or even behind, in front of a wall, as you breathe, feel that support behind you. And now in your mind's eye, I want you to connect with your favorite person. Picture your favorite person. And now replace that chair or the wall with your favorite person, and they're just placing their hands there for support. So replace the wall, replace the chair. In your mind, that's your favorite person, and it's their hands. Now I invite you to breathe into their hands. So breathing here, we're just receiving the breath, receiving nurturing support. If you're in a chair, allow your hips to rest deeply in the chair. If you're on the floor, allow your hips to widen and receive deeply into the floor. Now placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And reconnect with your home base. This is your home base. What do you need? And if there's something that you need that you're not finding within your home base, remember your favorite person is right there supporting you. They are right there behind you all the way. They have your back. Connecting with 2 more breaths here. Find that breath in your side body and your back body, across your chest and across your collarbones. And when you exhale, soften everything together. Inhale, expand, open up. Who are you? Take up space. Exhale, bring it in. Bring in those qualities of reverence to yourself. When you're ready, bring your hands to your chest. Feel each fingertip against its partner and the thumb. Create a little bit of concave so that there's a little space between each finger. Just the fingertips are touching. Now I invite you to do 3 rounds of pursed lip exhale breath with me. So you'll inhale through your nose. When you exhale, open your mouth and exhale through pursed lips through that little space in your fingers. Inhale. One more, inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, lower your hands. Softly blink your eyes open. Take in color first. Take in one image and then lift your gaze. I hope these practices help you. Be well.